Hey everyone, this is Selena.
Hi everyone, this is Chitika, and welcome to Working Knowledge.
This is a podcast where we're trying to expand our working knowledge of everyday things, so I hope you guys come join us. Technically, this is the first episode of this podcast, but we have worked on a previous podcast with a slightly different topic called Designing Activism, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah, this is our new podcast.
Yeah, we're very excited. We
Yeah.
are recording this remotely, so we're gonna learn as we go, and that's kind of the point of this whole thing is to just learn a lot of stuff as we go. So, we realized, that we have a lot of working knowledge of a lot of things. And for the uninitiated, I guess that means we have a lot of, and most people our age have a lot of like basic knowledge about how things work, and you can kind of get by doing a lot of things, but we don't really understand why they are the way they are or how to fix them if they're broken. So I feel like that's where most people are with, tech, for instance, is you can make it work, but if it's busted, you don't know where to start, besides the, of course, phone in the bag of rice trick.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
When you had a phone or when you broke your phone? Did you ever drop it in the toilet or something?
No, I've never had water issues. I've always dropped it like in the bathroom, but never into
The
like
toilet?
the pot. Yeah.
That's funny.
I can't say the word toilet. It really bothers me.
Why? Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know.
Anyways, I think a quick intro of us would be good. Since this is the first episode. My name is Selena.
First.
Yeah. So we are both students, recently graduated. Very excited about that. We graduated from Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, both with Bachelor of Architecture degrees. I got a minor in human-computer interaction, if that matters to anyone. And Chitika?
Oh, I have minors in architectural history and professional writing.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah.
So Selena and I have very different side hobbies.
Yeah. Although very different, but we have a lot in common, obviously. We've known each other for
I would hope
the
so.
longest time.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
But
spoiler alert, that's how we're friends is because we were in it feels weird to say were, because I'm like I still say we go to school together, but now I have to say we went to school together, which is like
weird,
sort of alarming. Seeing as we're both, I just learned a new word today to describe our current situation. We're fun employed.
That's too real at this point.
I love that. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's great. I'm just going to put that on my resume. I'm going to be like, from May 2020, onwards, I was fun employed.
Oh. Well, anyways, so we, obviously we're, I guess you could call it at home, without like full-time jobs, both of us, which is not a bad thing, I guess, at this point in time, because we're kind of relaxing and, de-stressing from the last 5 years, in my opinion.
And unlearning how to be students, I think that's a big theme for at least the next few episodes. Is that we're just trying to figure out how to like live as functional human beings. So that's interesting. That's been interesting. And hopefully a lot of our peers and a lot of other folks who've just graduated a couple years ago or are still in school but are about to graduate or are just dealing with like, I don't know, having to be at home and like actually be an adult and do like domestic things around the house for once. Maybe you guys will find something interesting in this episode or the next one. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that we're really good at any of these things. We've barely graduated. We just got our diplomas, I think, like last week.
Mine is at like my uncle's house, so I will see it next week.
Oh, that's exciting. I thought okay, yeah. I got it.
Well, I didn't know where I was going to be living at the time. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I got it, and then my mom was like, oh my god, finally. Like, it's been long enough. We graduated in May, and we got it in late July. So, anyways, today's quote unquote working knowledge lesson is I think we wanted to talk about like just household stuff. So we're gonna talk about the
Like
kitchen
food.
today. Yeah,
Yeah.
food. Food's always an important thing. Super important to me. I love food.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with the whole like COVID situation and staying at home, um, I think a lot of us have kind of adapted our cooking regimen or ordering out um, things. What have you been doing, or what do you want to talk about today?
Oh my god. Well, I feel like one thing is just I feel like it would have been an adjustment regardless of the state of the world because um I always ate a lot of takeout in college. And before
Mm-hmm.
that, when I was like in high school and living at home, I was never thinking about
Mm-hmm.
what's in the fridge and like whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Me, on the other
so
hand, I cooked a lot,
you
like
did.
before. So I guess we have like two different experiences with that. Like I
Yeah.
commonly cook, although obviously with like schoolwork and stuff, sometimes it doesn't give me the time. But either way,
Well, I think I mean, I don't know, you can tell people better, but I feel like you always had to cook kind of like in a like budget or restricted
yeah,
way. Not in terms of like only money budget, like time budget mostly.
time is the biggest
Um,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's interesting for me to be just sort of like having to learn how to cook, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm discovering I actually might have a bit of a knack for it, so we'll
Mm.
see. Yeah, I apparently am really good at making apple pie, even though I've done it only once. I'm
That's
not
like
even
really
American,
specific.
so. Right. I just found a really good recipe. I think that's the secret.
Honestly, yeah, the recipes are everything. The
Yeah.
ability to follow a recipe without getting like frustrated with it is also a skill that people should have.
Right, right. But I feel like I thrive under like instruction and structure. So
Mm-hmm.
I love having like a really precise recipe and then I just do what it says and I'm like, yeah, that was easy. um yeah. Oh, so one quick thing and obviously our listeners will realize if they're still on this, thank you first of all.
Mm.
Um but second of all, well, the way we're going to try to do this is we're just going to like try to learn from each other. That's kind of the point. It's supposed to be cute. We're like two friends like figuring out the world and like teaching each other what we know. And this is audio, so you can't see the little like dance I'm doing as I'm trying to make this cute. But just like imagine two really cute like cartoon characters. I don't know,
Oh my god,
or like a fun comic strip. But
love that.
yeah, so I have like a little thing to teach, I guess, to share with Selena and everyone else for today, and then Selena's gonna share her like cooking hacks with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hacks,
so I'm just
quote
gonna
unquote
get
hacks.
hacks, life
Yeah,
hacks. I don't know.
yeah.
Let's see. So the thing like the newest thing that I've been doing in terms of food is like since I'm cooking fresh food a lot more than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because I'm like trying to skip takeout, or I at least earlier, especially when all of this was very new. All of this being the pandemic. Obviously we were like staying home and cooking just like all the time and absolutely disinfecting everything with extreme caution.
Mm-hmm.
And now people are like not that convinced that like surface to surface transmission is that concerning. So I'm not an expert at all. Everyone please wash your hands and clean everything all the time. But anyway, the point is after March, I had to start cooking a lot more. And so my aunt recommended this really cool like company called Misfits Market. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty popular. A lot of people might have heard of it before, but their approach is like it's basically to prevent food waste, which is a pretty big problem, especially in the US. They buy up like either surplus produce or like quote unquote ugly
Mm-hmm.
produce from like local markets, and then they deliver them in boxes to their subscribers. So a lot of like mainstream retailers will like full on throw out produce that's not pretty, like it's not
Mm-hmm.
rotten or anything, it's just like slightly bruised or it's like a wonky shape or something weird, so it's not considered like appealing to
Yeah, it's not
buyers, and so they
considered
just
like
don't.
sellable.
Right, yeah, and so they just don't put it on the shelves, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
perfectly good food. And sometimes there's a lot of surplus of like a certain vegetable or fruit, so that also doesn't get stocked on shelves as much. So what I really like is I don't have a car. I also don't even know how to drive, but that's for another episode. And also because like movement is really restricted these days, like grocery shopping is like one of the most dangerous things you can do apparently. It's really cool to have like a subscription to one of these like services, because every week or whatever couple weeks depending on your choices, they'll just drop off a box of like a ton of the like really pretty colorful vegetables, and they also are like organic and they supply from like local farmers. It's all seasonal produce, which I'll come to in a second, but it's like important and really good to eat seasonally rather than like try to eat the same thing all year round. So that's my new like hack. And I just have like fresh vegetables in the fridge all the time. Like I had to cancel my next box because I have so much food in the fridge right now, like celery and tomatoes and like all these roots that I've never seen in my life before. Like I have beetroot in my fridge, and I think the last time I ate beetroot was like 10 years ago. Oh, go ahead.
I love that it like gives you variety though. Like, because I think when you go to the grocery store, you get into a habit of like going and like reaching for the same things, and you don't really try like beetroot, for example, if you want.
Right.
If you never like considered it. So it kind of like forces you to try new things, which is like a plus, I guess. Definitely what you should be doing right
also
now.
if you stay on the subscription long enough, they let you customize. So they still have, a certain selection, and then you can choose what stuff you want. But like a couple weeks ago, I ate for the first time in my life pluots, which is like plum and apricot hybrids. So they're like fruit, and they basically are like plums. But yeah, they're these like plum apricot babies, and they taste really good. And I just like I would never have bought a pluot in my life otherwise. I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced. I think that's how it would be pronounced. Could be like pluo.
I have no idea.
So yeah, that's my hack. There's a lot of like it's like a plum, but it's green basically. So it's interesting. But there's a lot of options out there. There's something called imperfect foods. There's something. Oh, Selena, your screen is frozen. But there's something called. Oh my gosh, there's like, Misfits Market, imperfect foods. I have a list of this somewhere.
Farm Fresh to You.
Oh yeah, Farm Fresh to You, and some of them are like based on where you are, so they might not deliver everywhere, but you'll probably find something that delivers in your area. Yeah. Also, there's something called the CSA directory, which is like the Community Supported Agriculture is CSA. And so I think if you're like a little farther out from like an urban area, if you're not in a city, that's where mostly these services deliver. But if you're like somewhere smaller, you can check out your CSA directory, and if you input your state, it'll tell you like what like local farms there are around where you are, and then you can subscribe to them for delivery. So like most of these places deliver a box to your doorstep, so you don't have to go anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You were gonna say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think I've heard a lot of things about how these are really good services for like elderly people because they shouldn't or can't leave their homes. Like the only way they can really get produce or food is food delivery. So this is like a really good tip for those people.
Yeah, I think it's like if you're a really busy professional, or if you're like, I don't know, like if you have like young kids and you like going shopping is like a whole, thing. If you're
or if you can't go out because of like an immunodeficiency, I forget how to pronounce it, but yeah, something like that, then you should probably consider something like this.
Right. And even otherwise, like you said, I always tend to like buy the same stuff at grocery stores, and most of it is just like garlic and pasta, and I also get really overwhelmed by choice, So I think it's a really interesting challenge to have a bunch of vegetables dropped off at your door and then be like, well, now what do I make out of these? I mean, for the longest time, I was just like grilling most of the stuff, and that works really well. Like to just toss it in the oven. Most things taste really good grilled. So it's pretty fun. You look really, you feel really put together for like eating organic, and
your fridge looks pretty.
Your fridge looks stunning.
Yeah.
My
That's
fridge
a thing.
is gorgeous.
Okay, I love beautifully stocked fridges.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was ever like in the restaurant business, I would always be in the like giant fridge they have, the like
Oh my
walk-in
god.
fridges in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's funny.
so good. Yeah. That's probably the biggest reason for me to like want a kitchen tour of like a really fancy place. So, if there are any chefs out there, well, not today, not these days, in like a few years,
maybe a few years.
Yeah, not now. Yeah, but that's basically it. I mean, I think that's going to be like my lesson. The only other thing is all these things are like really good. They're good like life hacks, and you also feel really good about like eating organic, eating seasonally. They're not very expensive. I mean, my box costs like $25, I think, which for a ton of vegetables. Like I get not literally a ton, but I think it's like £5, something like that. It's like a pretty big box,
that's
and it's
still
a pretty
like
good.
more than some people can eat. Especially if you're not like commonly or often eating vegetables, then it can be a lot.
Right. Well, then it's good because you're forced to eat vegetables. Yeah, because they're like going bad in your fridge or whatever, and you're like, I gotta eat these. Yeah, and seasonal stuff is good too because I was doing a little like reading into why it's important to eat seasonally and stuff, and it's like everybody loves to eat strawberries all year round, but like you really shouldn't because, well, not like you shouldn't eat them, but it's kind of like we shouldn't really be like. I don't know, like incentivizing, like the production of strawberries all year round. Because, I mean, even if it's not for the sake of like, I don't know, it's not everybody is motivated by like transportation costs and fuel use. Obviously, that's a given. Like if you're going to import mangoes from halfway around the world in the off season, it's going to be like way more expensive. But even if that's not a compelling argument, just do it for yourself. Because when you buy local or you like eat locally grown and like seasonal produce, it's likely coming from somewhere much closer to where you live, which means that the fruit or whatever vegetable is gonna stay on the like plant much longer because then it's just plucked fresh and then you get it like within a day or whatever, as opposed to it being prematurely like harvested and then either it's like made to ripe like while it travels, or a worst case, there's like injectables in there to like, speeden up the process of making it like ripe and pretty for you to buy. So obviously supporting your local economy is like also awesome. But even if you're not motivated by helping other people, which I hope everybody is, but even if it's for your own good, just like buying local means you eat tastier food and it's more nutritious if it stays longer on the plant. And I can always send like links and papers and things to people if you really want proof. But I mean, it makes sense, right? Like the longer it stays like it's supposed to, like the more natural the process is, the best version
it's
of
fresher. It doesn't look or feel older, drier, or whatever.
Right.
What's your favorite season of fruit or seasonal fruit? Sorry.
Like this season?
Yeah. Or like any season for a specific season.
Oh, I mean, like, I grew up, I didn't grow up in India. I grew up near India, but mangoes are really big in the summer back home.
They're also really big here. They're technically still imported, but they are like cheaper here right now during the summer.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of like summer fruit. So I've been getting a lot of mangoes in my Misfits box. Actually, I get like 1 or 2 a week. I think they're like, I don't know. Actually, it's a good question. Now shouldn't have admitted it if I wasn't sure where the mangoes are coming from. But I trust Misfits Market. So.
Okay. Well, I think the one thing about mangoes, or I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like it might be true, is I feel like they're more likely to get discarded if they don't look as pretty, even if they are like perfectly fine, because they're such a like, I don't know, pure
like perfectly shaped fruit or whatever.
Same goes for like apples or something. Like I feel like if you see a bruise, you're gonna be like, oh, definitely not this one. Those that have like thin skins and stuff like that. So yeah.
No, I just want some mango. I'm pretty sure I have one in the fridge.
I have.
What about you?
Oh, I have mangoes in the fridge too. Oh my god, my favorite seasonal produce, I guess is the better word, is corn, sweet corn. I love corn. Oh my god. I'm obsessed with it. And I don't know what it is this year, or maybe it's just the location I'm in. I know that corn is typically a summer produce like option. but there hasn't been a lot of corn around, and I don't know why. I'm like kind of
Oh
sad about it.
no.
I know.
Wait, you're in. Oh no, it's what's the state that's really famous for corn? Is it Iowa?
That doesn't. I don't know.
Or is
Maybe
I know like it's Iowa and Idaho, and one is
Idaho
really famous for
potatoes.
potato. Okay, then Iowa is corn.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
Idaho is potatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's. Someone told me that like 5 years ago, and it really stuck with me for some reason.
I should know this because I'm born here, but I don't know at all.
You're
So,
good.
anyways, yeah, seasonal things are super good. I think like seasonal vegetables are also like a pretty like common thing that people don't really realize is like some vegetables are just not as good in other seasons. So I
Yeah,
have no idea. I mean, like I'm not very like knowledgeable about this,
me neither.
but I try to buy seasonally, especially fruits because those are the things that I think are the most commonly misused.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best thing, though. You don't have to know everything because there's something called the Seasonal Food Guide. So if you go to seasonalfoodguide.org,
.org.
it'll give you like a drop down. You pick your state and you pick the time of year. Like I just put in Pennsylvania in late July, and now I have like a whole list of things of produce available in Pennsylvania in late July.
Mm-hmm.
Mangoes is not one of them. I gotta double check where
those
I'm
are
eating my mangoes
imported.
from.
Anyways,
Hopefully not from too far, but like corn is in here. I've seen what is it called? Like chard, Swiss chard.
mm-hmm.
Is that how you pronounce it? It's like this leaf, and it's like all over the Misfits catalogs.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't like actually had the like bravery to order some, but we'll try. Blueberries are big, apricots are big. Lots of really nice fruits are a thing in the summer in Pennsylvania apparently. So yeah, check it out. I feel like it's not even just about eating like good. It's also like all these vegetables that are so yum that like don't occur to you because you're like used to eating the same stuff over and over again.
Mm-hmm. I like wait every summer to eat corn. Like I'm so excited every summer.
Now I just really want some corn. What I really want is like corn and mango like salsa or something right now. Like that just sounds so good.
Love that. Oh, watermelon's a really, really big like summer fruit. We always have watermelon in our fridge during the summer. Good stuff.
Watermelon
Anyways.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Now I'm just hungry. But that's my knowledge for today. So I don't know.
Thank you.
I hope everyone. Oh, if anybody wants the referral code for Misfits Market, I got you.
That's funny.
Just
I don't think they deliver in my area, but I would have loved to use them. Oh, I guess like one thing that I would say that is like sort of related but not really related to ingredients is like consider if you're looking for cheaper options that maybe aren't like online deliveries or whatever, consider using Asian grocery stores or like ethnic grocery stores because a lot of them have produce that you would never expect but are super cheap. And they're really fun. So, tip for you. My lesson, quote unquote.
You're like wisdom.
I know.
I don't like.
Well, I guess it's not really much of a lesson. I just like wanted to share with you like how I cook and what I love making. Since quarantine and staying at home, happened. I've been calling this segment my favorite meals that I wouldn't have made otherwise. Let's see, what's the first one? Oh my god, okay. So, I guess a little bit of history about my cooking. Like, I love to cook, like, a lot. I think I'm probably, like, the most most cook often person.
Cooking inclined.
Cooking... Whatever. I cooked the most probably out of like all of my immediate friends, at least before this. So I that's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's like a really fun activity for me. But like there's some things that I like have never tried because I never had the time, and a lot of these things take a lot of time. So the first thing I want to talk about is making broth. Have you ever made broth, Chitika? Like any kind of stock. Oh my god, it's so
I don't
great.
think like never on purpose. No, I don't think I have.
Oh my god. Okay, so Do you have a favorite kind of stock?
Of course.
What's your favorite kind of stock?
Oh, I think I can only think of, okay, I can think of only 3 kinds of stock.
Okay.
Out of which I've eaten like 2. There's vegetable stock, there's
Mm-hmm.
chicken stock, and and there's shrimp stock, which I know
that's
because
one.
our friend Kevin, every time he gets shrimp, oh my god, somebody's mowing the lawn
I can hear
outside.
it, yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. Every time every time Kevin gets shrimp, he goes like, "Oh, I got shrimp today, and I want to save the shells and freeze
That's a
them to
thing.
make
That's
shrimp stock."
exactly what I was going to talk about. Have you
That's
never
all I
heard of that
know.
before? Oh my god.
Only from Kevin. I'm always like, "You're obsessed with shrimp stock," but now I'm really curious about shrimp stock
Okay, well,
because
I'll talk about shrimp stock first. I love shrimp
sounds good.
stock. Well, okay. So, like, during this stay-at-home order and stuff, I actually haven't been, like, buying that much seafood, which is actually another interesting topic that I'll talk about later. Um, how, like, seafood's super cheap now. But
Yeah.
I haven't bought much seafood because, like, I think sometimes it takes more time to cook, and then you don't get as much out of it. It's like kind of
Right.
expensive sometimes. Not right now, but it often is.
Usually.
Yeah, so like the few times that I have bought shrimp from like Whole Foods or wherever I'm grocery shopping, I always save the shells, and it's really fun. You just boil them basically, and well, no, I think actually what we did was we, as in me and my partner, we like stir fried them or like heat them up over oil, and then you would boil them for like a long period of time, and it makes like the
Hmm.
most beautiful, like, it's like red shrimp stock.
Yum.
Yeah, it's delicious. But yeah, we would use that a lot for pasta bases. That's really fun. um what do we use it for? I think I made it just for like, oh god, like a, I don't remember. It was great. But shrimp stock is really fun. It's not very often that I make it because I don't buy shrimp that often. The most
Right.
common broth or stock that I make is like a chicken, pork, vegetable stock, which is really
Mm.
easy. Or you could just do vegetable stock. So since we're talking about like ingredients, if you have scraps of certain vegetables, I just like
Mhm.
throw them into a bag in the freezer and throw them all into a pot at the end of like the month or something and make stock out of it. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, it's really great. Basically, what I do is if I'm doing like my vegetable, chicken and pork stock, I have pork bones, which are actually like sometimes really hard to find in certain neighborhoods. So I go to like an Asian grocery store or an ethnic grocery store to find it.
Oh, you have to like
Um,
buy pork bones?
yeah, well, like, so in Pennsylvania, like Giant Eagle, the one that was near me, they didn't have like any type of bone
Mm.
meat, if that makes sense. And their
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
meat,
It was always like boneless or whatever.
yeah, it's like boneless. They didn't have any, like, I like using pork bones, not like pork meat, I guess. I mean, you're supposed to use the bone, you get more like nutrients out of it.
Right, right.
Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, so I would like buy that from a grocery store, and I normally with pork, I try to, I think I forget what it's called, but you like boil it first to get all the impurities out of it.
Okay.
You drain the water and then you throw it in the oven at like a high temperature. I think it's like 400 or something for like 30 minutes, and you like kind of roast it so it gets crispy, and that gives you like a lot of the flavor. So you like take that out, and then boil it with your chicken and your stock afterwards, and it's like a really like hearty soup, I think.
Mm.
I guess, yeah. I'm not explaining this very well, but it's delicious.
No,
You
that
guys should
sounds
look up a
good.
recipe. I think the trick with like pork bones is like you have to roast it first in the oven, or like even
Right.
fry it in a pan beforehand, because otherwise you don't get all the flavor out of it. So yeah, and then what I normally do is I would like, I know this is like not, you're not supposed to do this, but I boil it overnight or I simmer it overnight. So I
Ah!
know. Well, we didn't have a fire stove. It was fine. Um, don't tell anyone. But I would like start it at like 11 at night, and then I wake up at like 6 in the morning and I would turn it off.
Oh my
But
god.
the longer you boil it or simmer it, the better it tastes. So Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, maybe. But, I mean, keep an eye on it. If it's simmering, it's probably fine. But the reason why I want to mention broth is, like, there's so many things you can make out of broth.
This is
oh
true.
my god. And you can just, I mean, you could just make, like, soup, like chicken noodle soup or something.
Right.
There's a lot of, like, Asian soups that I've made that are, or Chinese soups that I've made that are, like, need a good base, basically. Noodle soups, oh my god. Those are, like, the best
I'm just gonna be really hungry. We did not plan this out well in terms of like go into an episode about food without eating anything.
Yeah, but I love broth.
Sorry, I cut you off. Yes, broth sounds amazing. That's what I was reading about. How like you were saying, like veggie scraps are so good to use in broth. Like if you don't have a compost bit or whatever, you can't compost for whatever reason. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think we might have to do an episode on composting because I don't know how to compost anything.
I know the basics of it, but not much. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a little bit like, oh, how do you do it without, I don't know, like really, really full on doing it. Anyway, but yeah, like that's a really cool, I feel like I'm also really, this is terrible, but I'm really picky about like ends of vegetables and like what I actually cook to eat. So I usually have a lot of like veggie scrap, which is ironic for somebody who's happy to buy like ugly vegetables.
I guess I think there's some vegetables that you can't put in stock, but like a lot of them are pretty common. Like onion ends, for example. If you're cutting onion, just throw them into a bag, and then I like dump the entire bag into my stock, and it makes it taste really great. Yeah, and you can also just make veggie.
Right?
Yeah, celery is a big one. Carrots. If you don't like those ends, you can always throw them in. Yeah. I hate ends.
I hate ends.
Also, I think like broth is like a really good way to stretch your meals too, since like we're not supposed to be going to the, I mean people still do, but we're not supposed to go to the grocery store so often. Like I think
right.
Yeah, every 2 weeks I think is like recommended. So making broth in many ways I think can like extend the life of your food at home, so you don't have to leave it as often. Yeah. Plus, everyone likes soup. People who don't like soup are just really
I think it's, and also with like fall kind of coming, even though I'm like, I'm sweating as I'm saying this, but once it gets a little cooler, broth is a really good kind of like food.
Yeah.
You know, for chillier weather too.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do with it. Anyways, yeah, that's my first one. Okay, right. Let's see. I have a list of things. I don't have to talk about all of them, but okay. I think eggs are the most amazing ingredient ever. You can make them in so many ways. They're so obviously they're helpful in like baking. I could like marry eggs.
In baking.
Oh, like we have to bake. Gotcha. Yeah, it's like a binder. And
I don't know why I thought of like baked eggs. I don't know why that was the first thing.
You could bake eggs, technically. Yeah, no, but like I just think it's so interesting how there's so many different ways to make an egg. So I've definitely explored more ways to make eggs in this stay-at-home order than I've ever done before. I think like, I mean, obviously I've always loved eggs. That's like my personal love, but I would only like fry them like pretty basically, like or boil them or whatever. But then I recently discovered, not recently, but like I recently tried perfect like soft boiled eggs. Oh my god, amazing.
So good.
I mean like I've always loved like slightly runny eggs, but I never really had like the patience to do it before.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, soft boiled eggs are great. Speaking of broth.
How do you make soft boiled eggs?
Oh yeah. Well, for me, if I think it's like I normally do 7 minutes boiling water, or if you like put an egg in like water that's still boiling or still heating up but not boiling, then I do like 8 or 9 minutes because I'm lazy and I don't want to wait for the water to boil.
The water to start boiling. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like the best egg that's like soft boiled though is like if you make it for noodle soup or like ramen, you like sometimes I like actually boil the egg with like its shell in water. Other times I'll just like crack the egg into whatever like noodle soup I'm making, and then I'll just like dump it out when it's done. And like if you time it correctly, this is something I taught one of my roommates, Michael, too. If you time it correctly, you'll have a perfectly like almost poached egg on your noodle soup or ramen, and it's like the most amazing thing in the world. They're really hard. Yeah, just like poaching an egg in water, I still can't do it perfectly.
No, I don't think I know a human being who can poach eggs. Like my mom has tried it. My brother has tried it. They're like, I don't know. I've never seen anything that they like can't manage to cook correctly after practice.
I can't do a perfectly poached egg. It's like impossible. Like I can do it where like if I'm making soup and I'm like still boiling the noodles in the noodle soup, I can like crack an egg into it and just like let it sit there, and it will like kind of become like a soft boiled or like poached egg, but it's not like the same like poached egg you would get like for an eggs benny, you know, whatever.
Eggs benny, also so good. I'm just absolutely starving right now.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe we shouldn't have done a cooking or like a kitchen related episode.
We should have opened with like, anyone who's listening to this, bring a snack.
Yeah, bring a snack.
If you haven't already like caved and paused this and gone to the kitchen to grab something to eat, just do it now, because we're starving. I feel like looking at your list, it's only gonna get worse.
Well, I don't want to go through all of them because we are like, I don't even know how many minutes we're at. We're almost at 30 minutes now. But
oh wow,
let me see. Oh, I'm gonna talk about.
Do like one more then.
Yeah, which one do you want me to talk about out of this list?
Honestly, I've been eyeing the first one, the top of your list. Okay.
This is a great one. I don't know why I never did this in my cooking adventures before, but always have a jar, like a big-ass jar. Sorry, I don't know if we're cursing or not on this podcast, but a big freaking jar of kimchi in your fridge. Oh my god. Okay, I know that like all of these like things might be like a little more skewed Asian. That's fine, but kimchi is so good. Like on its own or as like an add-in for stir fry, and especially an add-in for fried rice. Oh my gosh. Okay, so currently right now we're like obviously doing this remotely, so I'm home in my childhood home back in like Indiana, and Chitika's like still in Pittsburgh. But I can't get kimchi here, and it's like the most sad and depressing thing ever. Yeah, so
kimchi is so good.
It's so good. So anyways, the list item that she was eyeing was kimchi fried rice, really kimchi anything. I love putting kimchi in fried rice because it has like if you get the right kind of kimchi, it has like a perfectly like tangy but spicy kick to the fried rice. And then if you add in like Spam or like ham even or egg, and like that little salty like crunch will make it like a perfect dish in my opinion. Oh my gosh.
I also look, kimchi is like cabbage based, right? And I normally cabbage is, I feel like, one of the hardest things to cook well, like, and for it to taste good is rare because it always still tastes like cabbage. Which is fine, but I feel like,
but for some people they're not like super into cabbage.
Right.
Yeah.
And kimchi is like a really great way to get into cabbage if you're trying to eat cabbage. I feel like,
and it tastes great.
Now I've said cabbage so many times. I'm thinking of, you watched Avatar, right?
Which Avatar? The
cartoon.
Oh, the Airbender Avatar? Oh no, I've never seen Avatar. I'm sorry.
And then the sequel, we're digressing, but the sequel, which is The Legend of Korra, is also going to be on Netflix. I'm very new to it. Like I watched the whole thing only during during quarantine. But there's this great meme, which is like, I'm spoiling a little bit, but like every time they're on like an adventure or like a battle or something crazy is happening, there's always this one poor guy. He's this like cabbage vendor, and he has like a little crate of cabbages. And they always crash into him or like zoom by him. And then he always yells, he goes like, my cabbages. And it's the biggest, I think it's the longest running joke across like whatever, 4 seasons. It is hilarious. Oh my God. You have to watch that show.
I know. A lot of people have told me to watch it, and I just have never got around to it. It's hard for me to get into, like, animes because I have to fully pay attention. That's a whole other episode that we can talk about.
We have to have a K-drama episode, like watching foreign TV, but not today.
Okay, not today. No, but like, so how I make kimchi, I don't want to say that this is like the correct recipe or this is the only way to do it, because the way I do it is probably like not, I don't know, official,
Authentic.
authentic,
Oh.
whatever. I'm not Korean, I'm Chinese. So the way I make it is I always I cook the stir fry the kimchi first, like in some oil. So cooked kimchi tastes a little bit different than like raw kimchi. I think it tastes better. Obviously like not raw kimchi, but like
Pickled
uncooked
kimchi? What's
pickled. I
the...
mean, it's pickled anyways, but
It's
like
all pickled.
uncooked, unfried
Yeah.
kimchi can taste a little more like sour, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But kimchi when it's cooked, I think tastes a little bit like more exciting. So I normally fry the kimchi first, and then I take it out, and then I fry like the meat, whatever meat I have. If not meat, then like mushrooms or something, and then I fry that in like the kimchi juices and stuff like that. Delicious. And then I just leave. I basically like any kind of fried rice is like a one pan meal. So I take out
All
the
the juices
meat.
have to stay in the
Yeah,
pan,
all the
right?
juice have to stay in there. So I take out all of like the mix-ins. Like sometimes I do ground beef. Sometimes I do spam or ham, or I think we did chicken one time when we had like leftover fried
And you
chicken or
said
something.
like mushrooms are good, like
Yeah, mushrooms
veggie.
are really good. I always add some onions in there. Yeah, so you would cook that all up, take it out, and then you put the rice in. So one thing about the rice is if you can, try to do day-old rice, not fresh rice, because technically it's like too smushy at the time. It's still doable, but like it doesn't like coat, like the sauces don't coat the fried rice,
The
the
grains.
rice as well.
Right.
Yeah, I normally, if we're in a pinch, like we'll use it, but I would like cook rice in the morning and then make fried rice at the end of the night, or I would like do it a day before. So I put the rice into like all the juices in the pot or the pan and then fry it up and stuff like that. And then I would add in the other stuff back in and then put the kimchi in as well. So yeah, that's how I make it. I also add like obviously all of like these great spices like garlic powder, onion powder. Um, I like adding ginger powder or just ginger as well, and a lot of fresh garlic. I'm a sucker for fresh garlic. What else do I do?
Garlic is so good.
Oh my god, it's so good. Um,
And then you
yeah,
eat it.
and then I eat it basically. Oh, sometimes if I mean I'll not always, but most of the time I add an egg into it. So I either like fry that separately or I like fry it in with all the mix-ins in the second step. So delicious. Um, green onions are always a good topper. Let's see, what else do I put in there? It's really like fried rice is really like whatever you want to make it. Like you can put
Yeah.
anything in there. Like if you just want rice and kimchi, you can do that. It won't taste as good as maybe with other stuff, but you can do that.
It
in my
works.
opinion. Yeah, it works. So, yeah.
So.
Kimchi is one of like so the reason why I say these are like my favorite like meals that I wouldn't have otherwise made is like most of the time I wouldn't have time to make broth. Like now that I have been home, basically like 24/7, I can go like work while my broth is cooking in the background or something like that, and I don't have to like do anything crazy. Same with kimchi. Like the only reason I have kimchi is because I wanted to like spice up a meal for one, and then also like I think when you have like a common side dish that you add to multiple meals, you can make it so that your meals last longer.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like you're like you have more stuff at home, I guess. And eggs are just like a necessity in my opinion.
Eggs are great.
Yeah. But the bottom line is like try like new things. Try some new recipes. Yeah. That's pretty
Be
much it.
adventurous in the
Be
kitchen.
adventurous. Yeah.
Not so adventurous that you leave your stove on all night, like some people.
Okay, it's fine. It's simmering. And it's not a fire stove. It's not a gas stove.
Fair enough.
I know.
Oh,
it's
you're
really
right.
bad.
I guess it's electric. Yeah. No,
It's
no, no.
electric. Technically,
fellow...
it's still not allowed. But
it's not. No, this is a big joke. Nobody does that on this podcast.
I've never done that at all. Yeah.
Nope. It was a meme. That was a joke. yeah, I may or may not know somebody who's had to do that to like because their heating was always broken.
Oh my god.
So.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Okay. All right, enough exposing everybody.
Yeah, so that was my lesson. I hope that you guys enjoyed learning things. I mean, it's more like us telling each other like the cool or like interesting things that we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as we'll probably discuss on another episode, making friends outside college is a whole other thing.
Yeah, so we're just going to keep the ones we have.
We're just trying to keep each other around. Oh my god.
It's really sad because like I don't even know when the next time I'm going to see you is. So like this is our way of like hanging out.
I mean, that's true for honestly most people on the planet. I don't know when I'm going to see a lot of people.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Anyways, on a lighter note, well, what's our closing segment? I guess two lessons today. One is
2 tips.
Eat local. Yeah, 2 tips, not lessons. That's the heavy word. Eat local, order online, but like try not to order from Amazon or whatever.
But support your like local places. Also, your local restaurants. I know a lot of places are closing because of the current situation. So if you can support them that way too.
Yeah. And make broth.
Make broth.
Save
your veggies.
Save your veggies. Eat organic, eat healthy, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Woo! Okay. Oh my god, I'm starving at this point. Okay. But that's it. That's it for today, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what our next episode will be, but it'll still be related to current life situation. Oh, we were talking about making friends outside of like school and stuff like that.
I was thinking this like series or whatever is gonna be new grads.
Mm-hmm. Now what? I love that. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Don't forget to learn from your friends.
God.
We're still testing out the taglines, so we'll come to a better one.
Expand your working knowledge of whatever you want to learn. Okay, anyways, thank you guys. This has been Working Knowledge, and we'll see you guys next time.